The diamond ring caught the light, sending prisms dancing across Madison's living room. Olivia's heart stopped when she saw it. Not because of its beauty, though it was stunning, but because she recognized it instantly. The unique vintage setting with 3 stones had been described to her in intimate detail years ago by a man who'd once promised it would one day be hers. When I propose, Ethan had whispered in their college apartment, "It'll be with my grandmother's ring." 3 stones. Past, present, future. Now that very ring sat on her sister's finger, hidden from her until this moment. The betrayal cut so deep that Olivia couldn't breathe, couldn't speak, couldn't even cry. She just stared at Madison's hand, at the physical proof that the 2 people she trusted most in the world had conspired to break her heart. Olivia Hayes had started her Saturday like any other. She'd gone for her morning run, picked up coffee from her favorite cafe, and decided to surprise her sister with breakfast pastries. They'd always been close, the Hayes sisters, just 14 months apart, practically twins according to everyone who knew them. They'd shared everything growing up, clothes, secrets, dreams, and the solemn promise they'd made at 16 after Madison's first devastating breakup. "We never date each other's exes," Madison had declared, tears streaming down her face after finding her boyfriend and best friend together. No matter what. No matter how much time has passed. Sisters before misters, always. "I promise," Olivia had said, squeezing her sister's hand. Never. They'd kept that promise for 12 years. Through high school crushes and college boyfriends. Through Madison's 3-year relationship with James, who'd wanted to marry her, and through Olivia's devastating breakup with Ethan Collins, the man she thought she'd spend her life with. Ethan. Even thinking his name still caused a dull ache in Olivia's chest. They'd been together for 4 years, from sophomore year of college through graduation and into their first year of adult life. He was brilliantly creative, ambitious, kind. At least she'd thought so until he'd ended things suddenly, claiming he wasn't ready for the future she wanted. That was 3 years ago. 3 years of healing, of building her career as an editor, of dating men who never quite measured up to what she'd had with Ethan. And now, standing in her sister's apartment, she discovered why no one else had measured up. Because Ethan had never really disappeared. He'd just transferred his affections to Madison. "Liv? Is that you?" Madison's voice came from the hallway, growing louder as she approached. "I thought I heard the door." She froze when she saw Olivia staring at the ring, her face draining of color. Instinctively, Madison's right hand covered her left, hiding the evidence that was already seared into Olivia's mind. "How long?" Olivia asked, her voice deadly quiet. "Liv, I can explain." "How?" "Long." Each word felt like glass in her mouth. Madison swallowed hard. 8 months. 8 months. While Olivia had been having Sunday dinners with Madison, confiding in her about dates gone wrong, Madison had been secretly seeing Ethan. The same Ethan who had once been Olivia's whole world. And the engagement? Olivia barely recognized her own voice. "Last week," Madison whispered. "We were going to tell you together. We've been trying to find the right time." "The right time?" Olivia laughed, a harsh sound that made Madison flinch. "Was that before or after the wedding? Or maybe after you had his children? When exactly is the right time to tell your sister you're marrying the love of her life? He's not the love of your life anymore, Liv. You broke up 3 years ago. And how soon after did you start seeing him? A month? A week?" The horrible possibility struck her. "Were you seeing him before we broke up?" "No." Madison looked genuinely shocked. "God, no, Olivia. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? Explain to me how this isn't a complete violation of everything we promised each other." Madison sank onto the couch, still hiding her ring hand. "It just happened. We ran into each other at Collins Gallery opening last year. You were supposed to be there too, remember? But you had that deadline. So it's my fault?" Olivia felt her anger rising, hot and sharp. "No, that's not what I'm saying," Madison hurried on. "We just started talking. About art, about life. It was just friendly. I swear, Liv, I had no intention of anything happening. But it did happen. Madison nodded, misery evident on her face. We kept running into each other. Then we started meeting for coffee to talk about his new projects. He's changed, Liv. He's not the same person you dated. Clearly, Olivia said coldly. The Ethan I knew wouldn't go behind my back to date my sister. We didn't want to hurt you. That's why we kept it quiet at first. And then it got serious, and we didn't know how to tell you without it being worse. Olivia looked around the apartment, seeing it with new eyes. The framed black and white photographs that hadn't been there on her last visit. The masculine jacket thrown over a chair. The 2 wine glasses in the sink. How had she missed the signs? Does everyone know? The thought made her stomach churn. Mom and Dad? Our friends? Madison's hesitation was answer enough. Oh my God. Humiliation washed over Olivia in a nauseating wave. Everyone knows except me. You've all been laughing behind my back this whole time. No one's laughing, Olivia. Everyone's been worried about how to tell you, that's all. We knew you'd be upset. Upset? Olivia felt like she might explode from the pressure building inside her. You think this is me being upset? This is me discovering that my sister, my best friend, has been lying to my face for almost a year. This is me finding out that the pact we made, the one thing that was supposed to be sacred between us, meant nothing to you. It wasn't nothing. Madison stood up, tears streaming down her face. I agonized over this, Liv. I almost broke things off with him a dozen times because I couldn't stand keeping it from you. But I love him. I really love him. And I didn't? Olivia's voice broke. You knew what he meant to me. You held me while I cried for months after we broke up. And you moved on. You dated other guys. You told me yourself you were over him. What was I supposed to say? That I still measured every man against him? That part of me still wondered what went wrong. Olivia shook her head in disbelief. Even if I was completely over him, he's still my ex. He was off limits and you knew it. A key turned in the lock and both women froze. The door swung open and there he was. Ethan Collins, with his tousled dark hair and the same blue eyes that had once looked at Olivia with love. He was carrying grocery bags, a domestic scene that made the betrayal even more visceral. Ethan's smile disappeared as he took in the tableau before him, Madison with tear-streaked cheeks and Olivia, pale with fury. You told her, he said quietly to Madison. She saw the ring, Madison replied, her voice small. Ethan set down the bags slowly. Olivia, I know this is a shock. Don't. Olivia held up her hand. Don't you dare speak to me like we're friends. Like you haven't been sneaking around with my sister behind my back. I never meant for it to happen this way, he said, moving to stand beside Madison. The united front they presented made Olivia want to scream. How did you mean for it to happen, Ethan? When you broke up with me, was Madison part of your plan all along? Of course not, he said, looking genuinely hurt. Our breakup had nothing to do with Madison. You know why we ended things. Do I? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you dumped me and upgraded to the prettier Hayes sister as soon as you could. That's not fair, Madison interjected. You're making it sound calculated, and it wasn't like that. Then explain it to me, Olivia challenged. Because I'm having a hard time understanding how my sister and my ex-boyfriend accidentally fell in love. Madison and Ethan exchanged a look that spoke volumes, a look of two people who shared something deep and private. It was like a knife to Olivia's heart. We connected over things that surprised us both, Ethan said carefully. Madison understands aspects of my work, my vision, in a way that he stopped abruptly. In a way that I never did, Olivia finished for him. Go ahead, say it. That's not what I was going to say, Ethan insisted. But it's what you meant. Olivia looked between them. You two artistic souls found each other, and poor practical Olivia just wouldn't understand. You're twisting everything, Madison said, frustration edging into her voice. We didn't plan this. We fought it. But at some point, we had to admit what we felt for each other was real. And the promise we made? Did that feel real too, Madison? Or was that just something you could conveniently forget when it suited you? Madison flinched. I didn't forget. I had to make a choice. And you chose him. Olivia felt something final and irrevocable breaking inside her. Over me. Over us. It doesn't have to be a choice, Ethan said, stepping forward. If you say we can all be friends, I swear to God, Ethan, I will throw that vase at your head. Olivia pointed to Madison's ceramic centerpiece. There is no we anymore. You made sure of that when you decided my sister was more important than basic human decency. Olivia, please. Madison reached for her sister's arm, but Olivia jerked away. We can work through this. You're my sister. Nothing is more important than that. Really? Because your actions tell a very different story. Olivia grabbed her purse from the counter. Congratulations on your engagement. I hope you'll both be very happy. Liv, don't leave like this, Madison pleaded, following her to the door. Let's talk about this. I know you're hurt. Hurt doesn't begin to cover it. Olivia turned at the door, her hand on the knob. You were the one person in the world I thought would never betray me. I trusted you with everything. She looked at Ethan. Both of you. Olivia, Ethan started. Save it. She opened the door. I don't want to hear how sorry you are or how you never meant to hurt me. Your intentions don't matter. What matters is that you both made choices, hundreds of choices, every day for 8 months, to lie to me, to exclude me, to betray me. What can we do? Madison asked, tears flowing freely. Tell me how to fix this. Olivia looked at her sister, her best friend, her confidant, her betrayer, and felt nothing but a cold emptiness where love had been. You can't fix this. Some things, once broken, stay broken. She walked out, letting the door close behind her with a quiet click that felt more final than any slam could have. Outside, Olivia walked blindly, not caring where she was going. Her phone buzzed with calls and texts from Madison, but she ignored them all. She ended up at Riverside Park, sitting on a bench overlooking the water, trying to process the enormity of what had just happened. Her sister and Ethan, the two people she had loved most in the world, conspiring behind her back. The humiliation was almost as bad as the betrayal. How many people knew? How many pitying looks had been cast her way while she remained oblivious? She thought back to family dinners where Madison had been conspicuously alone, to friend gatherings where Ethan's name never came up, to her own dating disasters that Madison had sympathetically listened to, all while hiding this massive secret. Her phone rang again, not Madison this time, but their mother. Olivia hesitated, then answered. Olivia? Her mother's voice was cautious. Madison just called me, very upset. She said you found out about her and Ethan. So you knew too. It wasn't a question. Her mother sighed. Yes, honey. I knew. How long? About 4 months. They came to Sunday dinner together when you were in Chicago for that conference. For months. Her parents had kept the secret for 4 months. And you didn't think I deserved to know that my sister was dating my ex? Of course you deserved to know. I told them both they needed to tell you right away. But they kept saying they were waiting for the right time. There is no right time to tell someone you're betraying them, Mom. I know this feels like a betrayal. It doesn't feel like one. It is one. Madison and I promised each other we would never date each other's exes. Never. She knew exactly what she was doing. Her mother was quiet for a moment. Sometimes life is more complicated than the promises we make when we're young, Olivia. Don't defend them to me. Not today. I'm not defending anyone. I'm just saying that love doesn't always follow the rules we set for it. This isn't about love, Mom. It's about respect. About loyalty. Madison could have dated literally any other man on the planet, but she chose Ethan. My Ethan. Her voice broke on the last words. Oh, sweetheart. Her mother's voice softened. I know this hurts terribly. But is it possible that part of why you're so upset is because you still have feelings for Ethan? That's not the point. Olivia stood up, pacing beside the bench. Even if I never wanted to see Ethan again for the rest of my life, he would still be off limits to Madison. That was our agreement. I understand. And for what it's worth, I think they handled this all wrong. They should have told you from the beginning. But they're planning a life together now, Olivia. The engagement is real. At some point, you're going to have to find a way to deal with that. Olivia felt a fresh wave of pain. Her sister and Ethan, married. Family holidays. children who would be her nieces and nephews. A lifetime of wounds reopened at every gathering. I can't think about that right now, she said honestly. I can barely process that they've been together at all, let alone that they're getting married. Will you at least talk to Madison? Really talk, not just yell and leave. She's devastated. She's devastated? Olivia laughed bitterly. That's rich. You're both hurting. This situation is painful for everyone. I'll talk to her when I'm ready, Olivia conceded. But not today. I need some time. That's fair. Just don't shut her out completely, okay? Whatever mistakes she's made, she's still your sister. After hanging up, Olivia sat watching the river, feeling hollowed out. Her phone showed 3 missed calls from Ethan and a text that simply read, "Can we talk? Please?" She deleted it without responding. As the afternoon wore on, Olivia found herself walking to the one place she knew she could find comfort. Her best friend Rachel's apartment was only 15 blocks away, and Rachel had always been her rock during difficult times. Rachel opened the door at Olivia's knock, took one look at her face, and pulled her into a tight hug. "Oh, honey, you found out." Olivia stiffened and pulled back. "You knew too." Rachel's guilty expression said everything. "I only found out last month. At Jack's birthday party. I saw them together and confronted Madison about it. And you didn't tell me?" Olivia felt the betrayal expanding, encompassing more of her life. "Madison begged me not to. She swore they were going to tell you themselves. I thought I was respecting her process." Rachel led Olivia inside, pushing her gently onto the couch. "I'm so sorry, Liv. I should have told you anyway." "Yes, you should have." Olivia accepted the glass of wine Rachel handed her. "Tell me what happened. How did you find out?" Olivia recounted the morning's events, the devastation of seeing the ring, the confrontation with Madison and Ethan. Rachel listened without interrupting, her face growing more troubled as the story unfolded. "That's even worse than I imagined," she said when Olivia finished. "No wonder you're wrecked." "The thing is," Olivia said, staring into her wine, "I don't even know what hurts more, that she's with Ethan specifically, or that she broke our promise. That she lied to me for months. Both things can hurt equally," Rachel said gently. "The specific betrayal and the pattern of deception. Everyone knew but me, Ratch. Everyone. Do you know how stupid that makes me feel? How humiliated I am to think of all of you discussing this behind my back. We weren't discussing it like gossip, Liv. We were worried. About you, about them, about this whole mess." Rachel tucked her legs under her. "For what it's worth, I told Madison she was making a terrible mistake. That no man was worth risking her relationship with you. At least someone was on my side," Olivia said glumly. "I'm always on your side, even when I mess up." Rachel hesitated. "Can I ask you something difficult?" "Why not? This day can't get much worse. Do you think part of what makes this so painful is that you never really got closure with Ethan? That maybe, deep down, you still had hope of reconciling someday." Olivia started to deny it automatically, then stopped herself. Had she been harboring some secret hope that she and Ethan might find their way back to each other? The thought made her uncomfortable. "I don't know," she admitted. "I thought I was over him. I've dated other men. I've built a life without him. But seeing him today..." She shook her head. It was like being right back in that moment when he ended things. All the pain, all the confusion, all the loss. That's understandable. But it's more than that. When I saw them together, saw how they looked at each other, I realized something. Olivia met Rachel's eyes. They make sense together in a way Ethan and I never did. "What do you mean?" "Madison is an artist, like him. They speak the same language. They move in the same circles. They probably never argue about practical things like budgets and 5-year plans the way Ethan and I always did." Olivia felt the truth of it even as she spoke. "When he ended things with me, he said he wasn't ready for the future I wanted. But maybe the truth was that he just didn't want that future with me." "Liv." "No, it's okay. It still hurts, but there's a clarity in seeing it. Ethan and I weren't right for each other. I can accept that now." She took a deep breath. "But that doesn't excuse what Madison did. She knew how much he meant to me, how devastated I was when we broke up. She held me while I cried over him, Rachel. And then she went and fell in love with him herself. I know. It's a terrible position she put you in. What am I supposed to do now? Just smile and celebrate their engagement? Be Madison's maid of honor while she marries the man I once thought would be my husband. No one expects that of you. At least, no one reasonable does. Rachel refilled their glasses. You're allowed to be angry. You're allowed to take time to process this. You're even allowed to set boundaries about how much contact you want with them, individually or as a couple. I don't think I can face either of them right now, Olivia admitted. Every time I picture them together, I feel physically ill. So don't face them yet. Take the time you need. But they're getting married, Rach. Eventually, I'll have to deal with it. We're family. We can't avoid each other forever. Cross that bridge when you come to it. For now, just focus on taking care of yourself. Olivia stayed at Rachel's into the evening, alternating between rage, grief, and a strange, detached sense of unreality. Around 8, her phone rang with a number she didn't recognize. Hello? She answered warily. Olivia, it's Ethan. His voice sent a jolt through her. Please don't hang up. How did you get this number? I blocked you. I'm using Madison's friend Jessica's phone. Look, I know you don't want to talk to me, but I need to say something. You've said plenty. No, I haven't. Not what matters. His voice was urgent. Madison is devastated, Olivia. She's been crying for hours. She won't eat. She's talking about calling off the engagement. Olivia felt a complicated surge of emotions, vindication, guilt, and underneath it all, a persistent sense of betrayal. That's between you and her. No, it's between all of us. You're her sister. No relationship, not even ours, is worth losing that bond. You should have thought of that 8 months ago. I know. His voice softened. I know we handled this all wrong. We should have told you from the beginning. We were cowards, and we hurt you, and there's no excuse for that. Then why are you calling? Because I need you to know something. Ethan took a deep breath. Madison didn't pursue me. I pursued her. Olivia frowned. What? After I ran into her at the gallery, I kept finding reasons to see her again. To talk to her. I was the one who suggested coffee, who called her, who kept showing up. She resisted for months, Olivia. She told me repeatedly that she couldn't do that to you. But she did it anyway. Yes, eventually she did. But if you're going to be angry at someone, be angry at me. I'm the one who wouldn't take no for an answer. I'm the one who kept pushing past the boundaries she set. Why? Olivia demanded. Why her, Ethan? Out of all the women in New York City, why did it have to be Madison? There was a long pause. Because she reminds me of you, he finally said. The best parts of you, your kindness, your loyalty, your sense of humor, but she's different too. She's right for me in ways you and I never quite fit together. I know that sounds terrible, and I'm sorry. You're right. It does sound terrible. But underneath her anger, Olivia felt a strange sense of confirmation. What she'd said to Rachel earlier was true. Ethan and Madison made sense together in a way that she and Ethan never had. I loved you, Olivia. What we had was real. But it wasn't right, not in the long run. We both know that. That doesn't justify what you did. No, it doesn't. Nothing justifies hurting you the way we did. He sounded genuinely remorseful. But Madison loves you more than anything in this world. More than she loves me. She's ready to give up our relationship if that's what it takes to make things right with you. And you're calling to convince me not to let her do that? How noble of you. I'm calling because I care about both of you, and I don't want to be the reason the Hayes sisters never speak again. Your relationship with Madison was special long before I came along, and it will be special long after I'm gone. That relationship is damaged now, Ethan. Maybe permanently. Only if you let it be. His voice grew more intense. Madison made a mistake, a big one. She broke a promise. But she loves you, Olivia. Don't throw away a lifetime of sisterhood over one broken promise, even one this significant. After she hung up, Olivia sat in silence, turning Ethan's words over in her mind. Was he right? Was she willing to lose her sister forever over this betrayal? The thought of a life without Madison in it opened up a chasm of loss even deeper than what she'd felt upon seeing the ring. What did he want? Rachel asked gently. To defend Madison. To take the blame. To convince me not to let this destroy my relationship with my sister. And what do you think about that? Olivia shook her head. I don't know. Part of me is still so angry I can barely see straight. But another part still loves your sister, Rachel finished for her. Yeah. Olivia wiped away a tear. I hate what she did. I hate how they lied to me. But Madison has been my best friend since before I could walk. How do I just cut her out of my life? Maybe you don't have to make that decision tonight, Rachel suggested. Maybe you just need to set some boundaries while you process everything. What kind of boundaries? Like, maybe you need some time away from both of them. Maybe you can't attend events where they'll be together, at least for a while. Maybe you need Madison to really understand the depth of what she's done before you can begin to rebuild trust. Olivia nodded slowly. That makes sense. The relationship won't be the same, Rachel warned. At least not for a long time. You can forgive without forgetting. You can love her while still being hurt by her actions. I just wish they'd told me from the beginning, Olivia said quietly. It still would have been hard, but at least I wouldn't have felt so blindsided. So humiliated. I know. Rachel squeezed her hand. And they should have. But they didn't, and now you all have to figure out how to move forward. Olivia stayed at Rachel's that night, tossing and turning on the pull-out couch, her mind racing with memories, arguments, and imagined scenarios. By morning, she'd made a decision. She needed to talk to Madison alone. She texted her sister, "Meet me at Riverside Park. 10 a.m. Just you." Madison was already waiting when Olivia arrived, sitting on a bench overlooking the water. She looked terrible, her eyes red and swollen, her normally perfect hair pulled back in a messy ponytail, her face pale and drawn. She stood when she saw Olivia approaching. "You came," Madison said, relief evident in her voice. "I said I would." Olivia sat on the bench, leaving space between them. "I've been thinking all night about what happened. About what this means for us." Madison nodded, tears already forming. "Me too. Liv, let me finish." Olivia held up her hand. "What you and Ethan did was wrong. Not just dating each other, although that was a violation of the promise we made, but hiding it from me for 8 months. Letting me find out by accident. Making me the only person who didn't know what was happening in my own family." "I know," Madison whispered. "I know it was wrong. You humiliated me. You betrayed my trust. You made me question everything about our relationship." Madison nodded, tears streaming down her face. But Olivia continued, her voice softening slightly. "You're my sister. We've been best friends our entire lives. And I don't want to lose that, even though right now I'm angrier at you than I've ever been at anyone." "You're not going to lose me," Madison promised, her voice breaking. "I'll do whatever it takes to make this right. If you want me to end things with Ethan." "I don't," Olivia interrupted. "As much as part of me wants to demand that, it wouldn't solve anything. It would just create more resentment." She took a deep breath. "Ethan called me last night." Madison looked surprised. "He did?" "He told me he pursued you, not the other way around." "Is that true?" Madison hesitated, then nodded. "But I still said yes eventually. I still broke our promise." "Why, Madison? Why him? You knew what he meant to me." "I didn't plan it," Madison said quietly. "When we ran into each other at the gallery, it was just a friendly conversation. But then he kept showing up places I was. Kept calling. At first, I told him absolutely not, that you were my sister and we had an agreement." "What changed?" Madison looked out at the water. "We kept talking. About art, about life, about our dreams. And I started to see a side of him I'd never seen before when you two were together. He seemed different, more grounded, more sure of himself. And I found myself looking forward to his calls, to seeing him." She turned back to Olivia. "I fought it for months, Liv. I swear I did. But eventually, I couldn't deny what I was feeling anymore." "And you didn't think I deserved to know? From the beginning?" "I should have told you right away," Madison admitted. "That was my biggest mistake. I told myself I was protecting you, but really, I was protecting myself. I was afraid of hurting you, afraid of your anger, afraid of losing you." She laughed humorlessly. And in trying to avoid all that, I made it 1,000 times worse. Olivia was quiet for a long moment. You're right. You should have told me from the beginning. I would have been upset, yes. I probably would have needed time to process it. But finding out like this, after months of deception? That's so much worse. I know. And I'm so sorry, Liv. Madison reached for her hand tentatively. I love you. You're the most important person in my life. More important than Ethan, more important than anyone. Olivia didn't pull her hand away, but she didn't squeeze back either. I need time, Madison. I can't just forgive this overnight. I'm still processing everything. Of course. Take all the time you need. And I need some boundaries. I can't see you and Ethan together right now. It's too painful. I can't pretend to be happy about your engagement when the way it happened feels like such a betrayal. Madison nodded, wiping away tears. I understand. But I don't want to lose you as my sister, Olivia continued, feeling her own eyes fill with tears. I'm going to try to find a way forward from this. I can't promise what that will look like or how long it will take, but I'm going to try. That's all I can ask for, Madison said, relief evident in her voice. I'll do whatever you need. I'll give you space. I'll talk whenever you want to talk. I'll answer any questions you have. Whatever it takes to rebuild your trust. For the first time, Olivia looked directly at her sister's left hand. The ring wasn't there. You took it off, she observed. Madison glanced down at her bare finger. It didn't feel right to wear it to meet you. Not after how you found out. Olivia felt a complicated mix of emotions at this small gesture of consideration. When's the wedding? We haven't set a date. And we won't until you and I figure things out. Madison hesitated. I won't plan anything without talking to you first, Liv. I promise. Promises again. But Olivia found she wanted to believe her sister could keep this one. I need to ask you something, Olivia said after a moment. And I need the complete truth. Anything. Are you happy with him? Truly happy. Madison looked surprised by the question, then thoughtful. Yes, she said simply. In a way I didn't know was possible. Olivia nodded, absorbing this. And does he treat you well? Better than he treated me at the end. He's grown a lot since your relationship, Madison said carefully. We both have. But yes, he treats me with respect and kindness. He listens. He compromises. Good. Olivia stood up. That's what I needed to know. Madison stood too, looking uncertain. What happens now? Now I go home and continue processing all of this. And you give me the space to do that. Olivia's voice was firm but not cold. I'll reach out when I'm ready to talk more. Okay. Madison looked like she wanted to hug her sister, but wasn't sure if it would be welcome. I love you, Liv. I'm so sorry I hurt you. Olivia looked at her sister, this person she'd known literally her entire life, this person who had both wounded her deeply and been her greatest ally, and felt the first stirrings of something beyond anger. Not forgiveness, not yet. But the possibility of it. I love you too, she said quietly. That's why this hurts so much. As Olivia walked away, she felt lighter than she had since discovering the ring. The betrayal still stung. The trust was still broken. The relationship would need significant repair. But for the first time, she could imagine a future where she and Madison found their way back to each other. Different, perhaps, but still connected by the bond that had defined them their whole lives. Sisters. It was a complicated word, encompassing love and rivalry, support and betrayal, shared history and individual paths. Today had shown her the worst of what that relationship could be. But it had also reminded her of the best, the enduring connection that could weather even the most painful storms. Olivia didn't know exactly what forgiveness would look like, or how long it would take to rebuild what had been broken. But as she walked through the park in the gentle morning sunlight, she knew one thing with certainty. Some bonds, even when severely tested, proved stronger than the forces trying to break them. And maybe, just maybe, the bond between the Hayes sisters would turn out to be one of those.